Let me begin with something simple but powerful. Everything in your life begins in one place, your mind. Before the money, before the opportunity, before the relationships, before the success, it all starts with the way you think. You cannot build a masterpiece life with a careless mind. It just won't happen. Most people try to fix their circumstances. They try to fix their bank account. They try to fix other people, but they never stop long enough to fix their thinking. And yet, thinking is where it all begins. Your thoughts become decisions. Your decisions become actions. Your actions become habits, and your habits become your destiny. So if you want to change your destiny, you must start by working on your mind every single day. Now here's what's interesting. The mind, left alone, does not drift toward success. It drifts toward comfort. It drifts toward doubt. It drifts toward worry. If you don't take control of it, it will take control of you. That's why personal development is not optional, it is essential. Every day, you must feed your mind something valuable, something that stretches you, something that challenges you, something that forces you to think beyond your current limitations. 10 pages of a good book, 30 minutes of thoughtful listening, time spent reflecting instead of scrolling. Because what you consume shapes how you think. If you feed your mind negativity, gossip, fear, and distraction, don't be surprised when your life feels negative, fearful, and distracted. But if you feed your mind ideas, wisdom, discipline, and possibility, your life begins to move in that direction. Guard the door of your mind carefully. Not everything deserves entry. You see, success is attracted to the person you become. And the person you become is shaped largely by what you think about all day long. If you constantly think, I can't, you won't. If you constantly think, this is too hard, it will be. But if you begin to think, there must be a way, your mind starts searching for solutions instead of excuses. And that shift alone changes everything. Working on your mind also means learning to think deliberately, not emotionally. Emotions are powerful, but they are not always wise. There will be days you feel tired, days you feel discouraged, days when results are slow. If you allow your emotions to control your thinking, your progress will be inconsistent. But when you discipline your mind, you say, I will think based on principles, not moods. You think long-term instead of short-term. You think growth instead of comfort. You think responsibility instead of blame. Blame is easy. Responsibility is powerful. The moment you take responsibility for your thinking, you take back control of your life. Instead of saying, this happened to me, you begin to ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, it's not fair, you begin to say, how can I grow from this? And growth is the ultimate goal. Another part of working on your mind is learning to ask better questions. Your life improves when your questions improve. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Ask, what skill do I need to develop to handle this better? Instead of asking, why am I not successful yet? Ask, who do I need to become to earn that success? Better questions produce better answers. Better answers produce better results. You must also take time to think, not just react, not just consume, but think. Set aside a few quiet minutes each day and ask yourself, am I thinking in ways that move me forward? Am I allowing doubt to dominate? Am I focused on what I can control, or obsessed with what I can't? Thinking time is growth time, and here is something many people miss. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want to earn more, you must become more. If you want to achieve more, you must think at a higher level. The marketplace pays for value, and value begins in the mind. Ideas create value. Creativity creates value. Solutions create value, and those things are born in a disciplined, growing mind. Do not underestimate small daily mental improvements. One new idea a day doesn't seem like much. 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but compounded over a year. Over 5 years, it transforms you into someone unrecognizable. Small daily disciplines become life-changing results. The person you will be 5 years from now is largely determined by the books you read, the conversations you have, and the thoughts you choose to dwell on starting today. So work on your mind, protect it, stretch it, challenge it, discipline it, because when you change the way you think, you change the way you act. When you change the way you act, you change your results. And when you change your results, you change your life. Change your thinking, and you change everything. Now, once you begin working on your mind, something powerful starts to happen. You become more aware of who you are. And that brings us to something even deeper than thinking. It brings us to character, because who you are matters more than what you have. You can build skills, you can earn money, you can create opportunities. But if your character is weak, sooner or later, everything you build will begin to crack. Character is the foundation, and foundations are tested. Life has a way of testing integrity. It tests patience. It tests honesty. It tests discipline, not once, but daily. And most of these tests don't show up in dramatic moments. They show up in small decisions. Do you keep your word when it's inconvenient? Do you tell the truth when it costs you something? Do you stay consistent when no one is watching? That is where character is formed. Success without character is temporary. It might shine for a moment, but it won't last, because eventually, who you are will either support what you build or destroy it. So, you must work on your character every single day. Character is not built in comfort, it is built in choices. Small choices, repeated choices, the choice to show up on time, the choice to finish what you start, the choice to speak respectfully, the choice to control your temper, the choice to do what's right instead of what's easy. Easy is tempting, easy is immediate, but easy rarely builds anything lasting. You see, reputation is what people think you are. Character is what you are when no one is looking, and life has a way of revealing the difference. You can pretend for a while. You can impress for a while, but long-term success demands substance. It demands reliability. It demands trustworthiness. If you say you will do something, do it. If you commit to growth, follow through. If you promise discipline, practice it. Every kept promise strengthens your character. Every broken promise weakens it. And here's something important. The first person you must keep promises to is yourself. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early and you don't, you weaken self-trust. When you say you'll exercise and you skip it without reason, you chip away at confidence. When you plan to read, to learn, to improve, and you don't, something inside you begins to doubt your own word. Self-respect is built through self-discipline, and without self-respect, it becomes difficult to expect respect from the world. Working on your character also means learning emotional control, not suppression control. Emotions are part of being human, but being ruled by them leads to inconsistency. Anyone can act calm when things are easy. Character shows when things are difficult. When you're criticized unfairly, when progress is slow, when someone disappoints you, when you're tired. Do you react or do you respond? Reaction is instinct. Response is discipline. The stronger your character, the less you are controlled by circumstances. You don't allow anger to make your decisions. You don't allow fear to shrink your ambitions. You don't allow pride to block correction. Correction, by the way, is a gift. If someone points out a weakness and you have the humility to listen, that's character growing in real time. Pride resists growth. Humility accelerates it. Gratitude is another daily discipline of character. Grateful people think differently. They move differently. They treat people differently. Gratitude keeps your ego in check and your perspective clear. When you are grateful, you don't feel entitled. And entitlement is one of the fastest ways to weaken character. The world does not owe you success. It responds to who you become. Strong character attracts strong relationships. And relationships determine much of your success. People want to work with those they trust. They want to partner with those who are consistent. They want to follow those who live what they speak. Your character speaks before you do. And here is something to consider. Wealth tests character just as much as struggle does. When you gain success, do you remain humble? When you gain power, do you remain fair? When you gain recognition, do you remain grounded? It is easy to stay humble when you have nothing. The real test comes when you have something to be proud of. That's why character must be worked on daily, not once, not occasionally, daily. You must evaluate yourself. Not harshly, but honestly. Where did I fall short today? Where could I have been more patient? Did I speak with integrity? Did I act with courage? This kind of reflection sharpens your inner life, and your outer life will always mirror your inner life. In the end, money can be lost and rebuilt, skills can be learned and improved, opportunities can come and go. But character, once damaged severely, is difficult to restore, so guard it, build it, strengthen it. Because long after achievements fade and applause quiets down, what remains is who you are, and who you are determines how far you can truly go. Build the kind of character that success can safely rest upon. Now, once you begin strengthening your mind and building your character, something remarkable happens. You become ready to increase your value. And value is what the marketplace rewards. You don't get paid for your time, you get paid for the value you bring to the time. Two people can work the same hours in the same industry with completely different results. Why? Skills. One has developed them, the other has not. If you want more income, you must become more valuable. That's not a motivational statement, that's an economic truth. The marketplace does not respond to need, it responds to skill. You may need more money, you may want a better lifestyle. But wanting is not enough. The question is simple. What skills have you developed that justify the reward you seek? So every single day, you must work on your skills, and I'm not talking about occasional effort. I'm talking about deliberate, focused improvement. Because skills sharpen through repetition and refinement, they do not grow accidentally. Start with communication. The ability to clearly express ideas is one of the highest paying skills in the world. If you can communicate clearly, you can lead better. You can sell better. You can inspire better. You can negotiate better. You can build relationships better. Communication multiplies everything else, yet many people leave this to chance. They hope they'll improve naturally. But hope is not a strategy. Practice is. Read aloud. Record yourself speaking. Study those who communicate with clarity and confidence. Improve your vocabulary. Learn to listen as much as you speak. Listening is communication too, and often the most powerful part of it. Then there is leadership. Leadership is not a title, it is influence, and influence grows when you become someone worth following. Leadership requires decision making, it requires responsibility, it requires vision, it requires the ability to bring out the best in others. These are skills, and they can be learned. If you want to lead, study leadership, observe it, practice it. Volunteer for responsibility instead of avoiding it. The more responsibility you can handle, the more opportunity will come your way. Sales is another skill many people misunderstand. Sales is not manipulation. Sales is service. It is the ability to communicate value so clearly that someone willingly exchanges money for a solution. And whether you realize it or not, we are all in sales. You sell your ideas. You sell your abilities in interviews. You sell your perspective in conversations. If you cannot persuade effectively, your growth will be limited. Learn how to present benefits, not just features. Learn how to ask questions. Learn how to understand people's needs. These skills create income. Problem solving is perhaps one of the greatest skills you can develop. Problems are opportunities dressed in work clothes. The person who can solve bigger problems earns bigger rewards. Instead of avoiding problems, train yourself to lean into them. Ask, what is the real issue here? Break it down, look for patterns, seek solutions instead of complaints. The world pays for solutions, and here is something important. Skill development requires humility. You must admit you don't know everything. You must be willing to be a beginner again. Ego resists learning. Wisdom embraces it. There will always be someone ahead of you, someone more skilled, someone more experienced. Instead of being intimidated, be inspired. Study them. Learn from them. Let their excellence raise your standard. Daily improvement may seem small. 30 minutes of focused practice doesn't look dramatic. One new technique learned today may not change your income tomorrow. But over time, these small investments compound. Skill is like interest. It grows when consistently invested in. You must also understand that skills increase confidence. When you know you are capable, you carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You negotiate differently. Confidence built on competence is powerful, but confidence without competence is fragile. So build competence first. Set a target. Ask yourself, what skill, if developed, would most improve my income? What ability, if sharpened, would multiply my opportunities? Then commit to working on it daily, not when you feel motivated, not when it's convenient. Daily. You cannot complain about your income while neglecting your development. You cannot demand higher rewards while offering the same value. Growth requires expansion. Expansion requires effort. And here is the exciting part. Skills are within your control. You may not control the economy. You may not control competition. But you can control your development. And when you increase your value, the world responds differently to you. Doors open, conversations shift, opportunities appear, not because of luck, but because of preparation. Remember, success is not about wishing for better results. It is about becoming better equipped. Become so skilled, so reliable, so valuable that opportunities begin to chase you. Increase your value, and your income will follow. Now, once you begin working on your mind, strengthening your character, and sharpening your skills, there is one final element that ties it all together. Without it, everything we've talked about remains potential. With it, everything becomes progress. That element is discipline. Motivation is wonderful. Inspiration feels powerful, but motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. There will be days when you feel energized, focused, ready to conquer the world, and there will be days when you feel tired, distracted, uncertain. If your actions depend on your feelings, your results will always be inconsistent. But if your actions depend on discipline, your progress becomes predictable. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. That is the battle, not between you and the world. Between you and your impulses. You want success, but you also want comfort. You want growth, but you also want ease. You want achievement, but you also want entertainment. And every day, those choices show up in small moments. Do you wake up when the alarm rings, or do you negotiate with it? Do you finish the task, or do you postpone it? Do you stick to your plan, or do you follow your mood? Small decisions seem harmless, but they accumulate. Just like interest compounds in a bank account, so do daily disciplines or daily neglect. Discipline begins with time. Time is your most valuable asset. You cannot manage life if you cannot manage your hours. Every successful person learns to assign time deliberately instead of spending it carelessly. If you don't plan your day will plan you. You must decide in advance what deserves your energy. Work time, learning time, exercise time, reflection time, rest time. When you live by design instead of by accident, momentum begins to build. Health is another daily discipline that cannot be ignored. Your body is the vehicle that carries your ambition. If the vehicle is weak, the journey becomes difficult. You don't have to be extreme. You don't need perfection. But you need consistency. Move your body, fuel it properly, rest it adequately. Energy multiplies productivity. Neglect drains it. It is difficult to think clearly with a tired body. It is difficult to act boldly with low energy. Discipline in health supports discipline in every other area. Then there is the discipline of finishing what you start. Many people are enthusiastic starters. Few are consistent finishers. Starting feels exciting. Finishing requires endurance. Results reward finishers. When you complete what you commit to, confidence grows. When you abandon tasks halfway, doubt grows. Every finished task strengthens your identity as someone reliable, and identity shapes behavior. You must see yourself as disciplined. Not occasionally disciplined, consistently disciplined, and understand this clearly. Discipline is not punishment. It is training. Athletes train not because they enjoy discomfort, but because they desire performance. Musicians practice not because repetition is thrilling, but because mastery demands it. If you want extraordinary results, you must accept ordinary disciplines repeated daily. Discipline also means doing the hard things first. Procrastination is expensive. It steals time, drains energy, and creates unnecessary pressure. When you tackle the most important task early, the rest of the day feels lighter. Face it, finish it. Move forward. There will be distractions. There will be temptations. There will be moments when quitting seems reasonable. That is when discipline matters most. Anyone can stay committed when progress is visible. Discipline shows when progress is slow. Remember, growth is not dramatic. It is incremental. You may not see change in a day. You may not see it in a week. But over months and years, consistent discipline transforms you. The difference between average and exceptional is rarely talent. It is consistency, and consistency is discipline in action. You don't have to be perfect. You will miss a day. You will stumble, but discipline means you return quickly. You don't let one mistake become a pattern. You correct course and continue. It is easy to overestimate what you can do in a week and underestimate what you can do in a year. Discipline bridges that gap. Imagine improving just 1% each day. Imagine choosing discipline over comfort repeatedly. Imagine stacking those days for 5 years. The person you would become would be unrecognizable, not because of a breakthrough, but because of daily obedience to your goals. And here is the beautiful truth: discipline creates freedom. At first it feels restrictive, but over time it opens doors: financial freedom, time freedom, health freedom, confidence freedom. Undisciplined living leads to limitation. Disciplined living leads to expansion. So do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Decide, commit, follow through, because in the end, your life is not shaped by what you intend to do. It is shaped by what you do every single day, and small daily disciplines create extraordinary lives.